It's in the works right now. The most important, I think, is on the street department. We've put away on, there's been a long process of trying to get the streets repaired. Potash and Emerson Avenues have been out there, and also on 10th Street, where it's going to be, that's going to be put off one more year. But in the process of that, one of the, I think the biggest complaints we get council is the streets. Unfortunately, there are other entities besides the city that are involved in that. Part of that, the other entity is the state and the federal. So when you build or fix up a highway, even in the city, you have federal monies and you have state monies and then you have local monies. And we are finally getting all of that together. So hopefully that part of it will be done soon, and you'll see some improvements on that aspect of it. As far as, I think that's the main thing that you're going to be seeing is street improvements here in the next year.
Thank you. And Wally, we'd ask you to answer the same question. What do you believe is the most important project the city needs to work on this next year?
Well, this is totally different. It's not a, it's not something like Fred was talking about, although I have absolutely no problem with what he's suggesting. But in this past year, the city council has embarked on a service excellence program. It's an attempt to create a very welcoming culture in which the people who work for the City of Alliance can do their jobs. It's an attempt also to help them get the employees to the place where they can interact with the citizens of the City of Alliance at a much more intimate and lower level. Instead of sending everything up a line of hierarchy, and there are obviously in any organization as large as the City of Alliance, you have people who you have lots of layers of hierarchy. It's an attempt to teach the people who work for the city to deal with issues and problems of the people who live in Alliance at a lower level, so that and then if they can't deal with it, they're at least to make it very clear to the citizens how they can go about solving it, so that they don't have to wade through all these layers of hierarchy themselves.
Thank you. And Lori, the same question for you.
Since I'm not on the city council at this time, I think one of the biggest issues we have is the tourism. I travel a lot with my job, and it's amazing when you ask people where Alliance is, how many people don't know, have never been out this far. So I'm a great advocate for our city, and I think that when they come in and they go to some of our convenience stores, and people will say, well, what's there to do in Alliance? And they're like, oh, nothing. So I think we need to educate some of our hotels and our convenience stores, and I know that they've worked on this, the service excellence with that too, and I think it just needs to start down there so everybody knows what we have, and I really like the idea of the sign so people know where they can go, and I think they're on the right track. I'd just like to see more of it.
Wally, you'll answer this next question first, and that is, what are Alliance's biggest financial challenges?
Well, first of all, we've been really very, very careful to budget what we think we can afford. This year, when the budget came up and we went through it, we actually had a lower mill levy than we'd had past year, because we knew what we needed to have, and it needed to be no more than a certain amount. One of the things that we're working on, and whether it comes to fruition this year or not, is some big stuff involving the airport. We are hoping to get a very large grant to help us with doing some more of the runway work and a whole variety of things relating to the airport. And so that would be a very large expenditure for us, even with the very large amount of money that we would hope to get in the way of grants. We think it's very, very important that we maintain a very viable airport here, and so there are lots of things being done along that line. The other thing is it's very expensive, but we need to do it, and that is the roads and within the town. So.
Thank you. Well, and Lori, the same question for you. What are Alliance's biggest financial challenges?
I think the biggest challenge is the roads and the streetscapes. I think that we've had this on, gosh, we've been talking about it for years, and the last time I was on council, that was a big thing, and we keep putting off the roads that really need to be fixed. I think we need to turn around and fix. If we want people to come, and we want people to enjoy our town, they have to be able to have roads that they can drive on.
Thank you. Same question for you then, Fred. What are Alliance's biggest fiscal challenges?
Well, the fiscal challenge, I think, is, Wally alluded to the fact that, you know, we always want to keep the tax down. We go in with, they say, okay, we tell the people in the city, you know, here's where we like to go. Don't go any higher than this, and then work within this budget form. So when you do that, and we have been able to do that, then you have to prioritize. And Laurie mentioned the streetscape. Well, hopefully this year we have made that decision, and there will be some work done on that streetscape. And what that is that's a downtown improvement district. And downtown improvement, we have new lights go in on 3rd through 5th. There will be street lights that will be put in. I believe they're going to go all the way from 1st to 5th. And so we're finally saying, okay, we're going to do that work. That's important to do that. If you drive around the states and other towns around the country, you will see that a lot of money is being put in downtown areas. And really that's your main center. Not that you don't worry about the businesses, or you're not concerned, I should say, about the businesses outside of that. But Alliance is, when you refer to any town, and we're talking here at Alliance, it's the downtown area. And we hope to have that worked on this year. It's in the budget. We hope that all goes well. And so that would be our major big expense. And that is a big expense, but we hope that it'll pay a lot of dividends on all the way through the years.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, Lori, we're going to ask you to answer this next question first. How should Alliance deal with people who don't get building permits?
How should they deal with people that don't get building permits and then they build?
That's correct.
Well, we don't want to tear down, but we should, I think that everybody should be on the same level, and if they're building without a permit and the city finds out, then they should be fined. That's just like if you don't mow your yard and they send out letters and you still don't do it, then people get fined. I don't think anybody should have the ability to build, and then the next person get a permit and they do it the way they're supposed to, and the other person does it and doesn't have to pay for it.
Thank you, Lori. Fred, the same question for you. How should Alliance deal with people who don't get building permits?
Well, I'm not so sure that if you build something and it's not permittable, that it shouldn't be torn down. I do believe that if you are building something that doesn't follow the rules and follow the guidelines of what the city has put together, and other people are doing that, then obviously there's a problem there. I don't know if we've had a large problem with that. Maybe at times there's been some fences that may have been put up without people getting permits. They're easily accessible. I don't know if that's, I suppose that could be a problem. Sometimes if you do something on your own and replace something, somebody says, well, you need a permit, but there's some gaps in there. If you put it up yourself, you don't, but if you have somebody else hang a door that comes in, you need a permit. Yeah, I think you follow the rules, and then, again, a fine, or if it's put up wrong or doesn't, it's not following code, then it should come down. I think that happens once, I don't think it'll happen again.
Thank you, Fred. Wally, the same question for you?
Well, I do think people need to be treated equally, and I don't think that some people should have the ability to get out of doing the things that they need to do in accordance with the regulations put out by the city. So I think there should be some sort of sanction, whether it's a fine or whether it's tearing something down. I don't know. I mean, you could probably have a combination of that depending on what you were doing, but I absolutely don't think that some people should have personal favors along that line.